Episode 2 of Walkabout World, and I'm going to bring you a survival base that is really easy to put together, looks fantastic, and has everything you could possibly need. Don't you go anywhere. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to another episode from me, Avomance, on my Walkabout World series. In the last episode, we made this wooden shack, episode 1. It's all very exciting, custom trees, all kinds of stuff going on. If you've not seen it, the link is in the description below. Please do go and have a look and let me know what you think. Since then, we have put a little path all the way around, and following this path, you will see we have got to episode 2. So we've clearly got to go in this direction. Now, what is at the other end of this path? And in answer to that question, what's at the end of this path is nothing yet, because we haven't built it. We are going to today build a base, a survival base, not a massive one, but one that has got as much stuff in it as you think you could need, but looks fabulous. We're not going to do a biggie, it's just going to do a littly, about the same footprint as that house back there. So let's crack on with it. Again, we're going to keep it fairly simple, stone and wood pallets. We've got a little bit of light grey concrete in there that I might use just to mix up with this stone because it gives for a really nice texture and effect. A few little workstations and a little bit of green. I've not got any bushes in there, but you can be sure I'm going to be using them. So what I want to do first is just create myself a bit of a little hill. And by little, I really do mean a little hill. I only want it to go up maybe 2 or 3 blocks, no more than that. But to do that, I actually have to make a fairly significant sized stand to start with. So it's got to come out quite a lot, otherwise the hill becomes too steep and it becomes immovable. So let me just get this bit done. So I need to just work out the kind of space that I've got here. I can always expand this hill out a little bit if I need to. So this is where the front entrance is going to be. Now, unlike a house, a base doesn't want to be, with a door necessarily. You want it to be accessible. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take some spruce wood there, and I'm going to finish those two like that and pop that in like that. And then I'm going to get an oak gate, and that can be the entrance to the base. I think we're going to do it in just a very slightly different way. And then what I'm going to do, I might just use these spruce woods actually, and just create my outline for my base. That's kind of comes in across and 2, across, and so it's a space of 2 in there, space of 2 in there. I think I'm going to need to bring these out just a little bit more because that's not enough space for me to be able to create what I want to do. And these constant adjustments when you're freestyling is perfectly fine, nothing wrong with adjusting it whatsoever, and as a result you end up with a much better build at the end of it, like that. Just it takes some time to get the terraforming absolutely right, and there, like that. Okay, it's ever so slightly off on that side. We may not even worry about it, it should be fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this up so it is 3 high on each one, so it's level with the entrance there, because this is the base, remember, this is not a house, and as a result we can kind of be a little bit more creative with the shape and the texture that we do within the space. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to connect these up with some slabs. Now I just need to decide what slab do I want to go with. I'm going to go with oak. I think I need the lighter colour to come through against this dark spruce, and I'm going to try and keep it so as the oak is inside but on the top level, you can see. So this is a top slab, so if we're going to bring that around like that, and I'm just going to bring this all the way around and create a floor. Now we've got our platform set up, we're going to come underneath and we are going to dig out a bit of a hole. Now obviously we're going to keep that one like that, just where that gate is, because we want this to be one level down inside. Why? Because I said so. I just fancy it. So we're just going to dig this out like this, and I'll be back when that's done. Our floor inside is now done. I don't know why I went through the gate, because I've got a blooming great big hole here for the moment, and it steps down onto a really nicely patterned stripped oak. I've just gone kind of hatched pattern, crisscross, 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 all the way with the same wood. It is all stripped oak, and it works really, really well. Now it's very dark in here, and we're going to light it up in just a moment. I've put the posts so they come right through the earth, and I've put mossy cobble in between them, because I figured this is under the ground. The cobble is likely to be a little bit mossy, especially seeing as we are going to put a 2-high bush wall on every single cobble that we've got here. Now we will jazz this up from the outside so it doesn't look quite so regular, and I may even jazz it up a little bit from the inside as well, frankly, because I think that could work rather nicely. But this creates as good a barrier as any to any intruders from the outside. And I've just realised I have missed a cobble there. That goes like that, that there, and that there. So we are completely enclosed. This is very secure. Nothing can get in, so we are quite safe to be able to start building our base in here. The first thing I want to do is build the way of getting up to this second floor, because there's going to be a lot going on up there as well. So I want to be level with this gate. So coming in, 1, 2, 3, I think we'll start it right there. And I'm just going to literally do a crisscross of getting myself up and underneath that ceiling, which means I then can start to punch through and get myself entrance using these steps. Probably need to do 2 more, I reckon. And that is, can I then get up and down? Yes, I can. So we've got our entrance up to the upper floor. We don't necessarily have to do that bit now, but what I will do is trim this round a little bit with some more wood, just so as we've got a little bit of it just looks a little bit nicer, I think. And then I'm going to top that off there and there, because that being a top half slab is going to mean we can't see it through. Actually, what, I've changed my mind. I'm going to come up and I'm going to bring that like that, and we're going to have 2 points exactly like that. That means that we can protect ourselves from falling down the L a little bit, and I think that works better. And I've lit this place up using some lanterns on top of a trapdoor. You can see I've just shoved them in corners so as 2 of the 4 sides are always in contact with something, so it looks like it's well supported. And I've created a more solid side to these steps up. I think it needed it, and it also allowed me to put some more lanterns in there. That's created this to be completely unspawnable. Everything is light level 8 and above, so we are quite happy there. I'm going to come back and do some more stuff underneath here in a minute, but right now I want to come up on top, because this is where we're going to be doing a lot of our work. And the first thing we want to do is create some height, because what we've not got any minute at the minute is any real height. So we can come up to this platform, and I think that we would come up to this platform underneath the actual the base lookout point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, using this as my center, if I come out 1, 2 and there, and then 1, 2 and there, and I can come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there and there. So that gives me a bit of a square within which we can start to build something. The question is, do I want it to be a square, given that we've got such a nice irregular shape on the other sides? I think we do. We need to keep a little bit more regularity, otherwise it's going to start to look a little bit odd. So I'm going to build, I think, 4 high across that way, and we're going to join this up with some spruce stairs across the middle here. So if I come across here, and we're just going to create ourselves a little bit of a lookout platform. This is 5 by 5. It's not very big, but it's going to be big enough to serve the purpose that we want it to do. That's great. And then we're going to get a spruce slab, and we're going to fill in this area here. And that gives us the start of the build that we want. I've got open space, which is definitely what I want. I've also got an enclosed space here. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to go a little bit weird, and I'm going to use this, and this might not work, but I'm going to come out on all these corners here, and I'm going to try and lift this up in a kind of semi-Tudor style, in that it starts thin and comes fatter. And what I want to use here is actually a composter. The texture of the composter is quite good at this point, and it can actually act as the start point for a taller piece of wall. So if I come out there and there, that works. We're then going to come out with a little bit more on top of the composters. And we're going to take this up 5 high, I think. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to do this on all of these. That's brilliant. And then we're going to top it off with another composter. So let's just pop the composter on top there again. And that just creates a uniformity from the top and the bottom of those pillars. And then between these composters, we're going to place some more steps. Okay, so that's great. We're going to again increase this platform with some slabs, top slabs. Brilliant. And that gives us kind of an open area that we could, if we wish to, we could enclose quite nicely, or we could leave relatively open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this light grey concrete that we were talking about earlier, and I'm going to bring it in, and I'm just going to have the corners enclosed like this, I think, and we'll leave these other areas open. So I'm just going to build these walls up, and that from the outside looks really quite nice. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create using dark oak, and we're going to bring in a bit of an archway across the top here using some dark oak steps. Now we need to think about how this is going to work. What side do we want it to go on, because it's not going to be a very big arch. You can see here, and that goes like that. You can see we've just got a tiny little arch, but we want that gap at the top, otherwise it doesn't really fulfill its purpose. That's interesting. We've only got that size on that. I've actually miscounted that size. We're actually going to go with it, and we're going to see whether or not we can make that work for us. Told you we're freestyling. Okay, you know what? I think we could go with this. It could actually work. I'm going to need to do a lot of work on the detailing, but I think we can make it happen. What I might actually do is pop that there and that there like that, just to give a double cover there and there. Superb. Right, so now what we need to do is we need to gain ourselves entrance to this top level. We need to think about how we're going to do it. Now this side has a greater amount of space here, so it lends itself to being the entrance. So I'm going to work out a way of doing that, and I think we're going to be using some spruce slabs to bring a gradual step down. So if I create a platform like that there, so we've got a bit of a spiral staircase, if I can actually get on it, spiral staircase going up to the upper level. Okay, now we'll fancy that up a little bit, because at the minute it looks a little bit blocky and square, but I think that works for an entrance for now. So we're within our concrete little structure there, and I've created 2 ladders to get up to the top level. Let's just close those off so as we don't fall down, because you know I will fall down if I'm given half a chance. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build off on top of here with, again, some more of the spruce wood, just to continue that spruce wood pillar on each of these. And this is going to become a bit of a kind of a lookout post, but it's also going to be functional in that I'm going to take some spruce fences, and we're going to put spruce fences across here, and then we're also going to put some cobblestone wall on top of these blocks here, and that will allow us to start to construct a bit of an overhang structure that gives us a roof, but a big gap between the roof and the platform, so as it's a proper lookout style thing. And I think that we need these to be too high, because it's going to be a fairly decent tower. We're not going to have a big high pitched roof on this. We're going to have a relatively flat roof, I think. It's not really looking to suit a big kind of wizard style roof, but what we will do now is get our spruce slab, and we're going to put spruce slabs across on all of these areas just to enable us to get this roof going. I looked at this from a little bit of a distance, and I'm a little bit worried that it just looks like a salt shaker on top of a platform. So we need to try and change that up a little bit. And I've had an idea, and I do not have the faintest idea if this is going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a trim around here like this and bring this out. Mind the stairs. Stairs are going to cause me problems, aren't they? Right, so if I bring these out like this, like that, and then step it down one, replace that, and bring this kind of around in the same way, and try and get it out so as it's kind of level with the outside but not quite. And we're effectively creating ourselves kind of a semi-pitch roof. I don't think I can put that there because that's going to block my entrance, isn't it? Yeah, so we need to leave that bit out. But if we come back this way, that goes there, and that can go there. That can come out all the way, out like that, and all the way down, and that should meet up with that. Right, that's right. So if I then do that again, coming out another part, I'm starting to overlap across the outside of the base now, and that's what I'm trying to achieve, is a bit of an overlap. I've not done it everywhere, but I've done it in most places, and that means I can start to, it's almost like a skirt around that large area that we've created here. And if it's got a skirt, then it's going to be slightly less offensive, I think. So if I come around this way, and hopefully this should meet up with this here in a way that works. We might get away with this, people. Right, so let's just try this around this way. So you can see I've kind of built a bit of a skirt. I'm really not sure about this area. I might have to just literally do away with these stairs completely. I'm not entirely certain that that's going to work. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create this skirt so as it goes out all the way across to these bits here too. Because that's going to come out and that's going to... Because I need this to literally run all the way around so as I can put posts up from these spruce log pillars to support this roof. I don't want it just dangling because that would look ridiculous. So let's just do that and we'll see what we end up with. I actually think that worked out rather well. Now, I know if I look at this at the front, that's making at least 50% of the people watching this video's teeth itch because it is not symmetrical on this side and this side. So we are going to have to do some building up on this side just to make that work for us in a little while. I've got some thoughts, I've got some plans. Don't panic yet, but feel free to be prepared to panic when it doesn't necessarily work out, because this is made up as it goes along. It seriously might not pan. It might not pan. So what we need to do now is we need to bring in the things that you would have inside a base. Now, the things you have inside a base, obviously, the ability to sleep, the ability to craft, the ability to store stuff, all that kind of thing. So at the top, we're going to start right at the top. This is going to be our storage area, I think. So we're going to get things like chests and barrels, and we're going to fill this place right up. You are not going to run out of storage space too quickly with all of this here. We've come down the ladders and we're going to miss out this level just for a moment and come back to it, but we are going to come to this level here because this is our living quarters. This is where we're going to actually spend our time, and this is where we're going to do things like sleeping and maybe crafting, but not necessarily too much of the other workstations. That will be another level. So let's decide where we want to put our bed. Now I reckon, given that we've got this jutting out bit here, our bed naturally goes on this part. So if we put our bed there and there, and it's a nice double bed, we're going to put a crafting table right next to it. I think that works quite well. And then we can put, again, just a little bit of storage. It always works to have a nice little bit of storage near your bed. You know, you'd maybe empty the change out your pockets, that kind of thing. There and there. I think that works perfectly fine. And then what we could also potentially have here is just a little bit of the ability to do things like smelting. So I'm going to put in this area here, a couple of furnaces on either side that will allow some fast and ready reckoning to do smelting dead simply. We're going to decorate this up a little bit more in a moment, and we're going to leave this area open just for the time being because we've got to come down here. Now there's a couple of things that we need to do here. The first thing we need to do is to take out these blocks that I put in there. Oh look, we've got a little bat, and take out those blocks, and we're going to do something with that in a moment as well. But before we do that, we want to create our crafting area, the area that we're going to use to make all of our stuffs. And as a result of doing all of our stuffs, we're going to need a number of different workstations. And as a result, I think we can get one of these fellas here. I'm going to put that shelf there and put the stone cutter on top of it. I'm going to put the grindstone coming out the side of that. I'm going to put a smoker and also a blast furnace in there because, well, let's face it, we can, can't we? They're fairly specialist smelting items. They don't necessarily have to be upstairs with the rest of the furnaces. I'm going to put a cartography table right there and a loom there. So you can see we've started to create a decent area. So what we also want is a little bit of storage, because if we're crafting, we're going to need to be able to store stuff. So I'm going to put one double chest and two single chests just there, and also a couple of double chests there and a single chest right there. I might put these at double height actually. And then on this side we've got a big open space, and obviously when you've got a big open space in your base, this only lends itself to one thing, and that is of course an enchanting setup. We needed that kind of 5 by 5-ish space to be able to put down enough bookshelves to get around our enchanting table to give us the maximum enchant levels that we want. We've got a couple of anvils, some storage, and also we've got here and here 2 water sources, which gives us that infinite water source right in the middle that we can use with our brewing stand. A little bit more storage there. It's starting to come together. At the back of the staircase we've suspended a lantern. We've got a few trapdoors that goes down to a very mossy cobblestone little corridor. This is where your mine would be. I've not dug further than this because, I don't know, maybe your mine wants to go that way, maybe your mine wants to go that way, maybe it wants to go straight down. You've got the choices, but you cover it up here with some trapdoors to keep things safe. So we've got a relatively functional base, not entirely finished obviously, but it's a relatively functional base. What we've not got is it looking the way I want it to. We need to snazz it up, and I'm going to be using these bits and pieces here. We need to create a little bit more of an aesthetic around these very long up and down lines that really need to be broken up a little bit in a number of different ways. So that's what we're going to do now, and I'm going to try to do it first off by using some upside down steps just on these outside parts. What I want to do is I want to break up that straight line. Straight lines just don't particularly work very well at all when you're playing this game. You've got to make sure that you've got lots of breakage. And if I put a lantern on top of that, does that work? I'm not entirely certain. We're going to find out in just a minute. I'm actually going to say possibly not, but what we might be able to do if we're a little bit clever is create a secondary arch. I just want to experiment with this. Would this work if I were to bring this arch up this way? There and there. If this works, I officially declare genius and put that there like that. Okay, I officially declare genius. That's perfect. So I'm going to put that all the way around, I think, but before I do that I am also going to put in some stone buttons because we need to break up that wood there. I'm going to put in some stone buttons at the top so that offsets that cobblestone wall, acts like a pin. And we're also going to be putting in some stone buttons on that level so as it is level with that crossbar, because that crossbar at the moment looks a little bit out of place and I may have to do something about it. In fact, I know I am going to have to do something about it. That already looks better. So I'm just going to go round and I'm going to create this aesthetic a little bit with the archway, which I bear in mind isn't going to work in the same way on that side because it is a slightly different size, and decorate up this really open concrete as well. So let's crack on. Okay, so I think we are getting there, but we're still not quite finished. I need to put a little bit more decoration around the outside and possibly just the odd little bit of detail on that tower as well. I'm not sure I need to put too much more detail in there. Let's work it out. But what I want to do is I want to be able to get some kind of water feature. So I'm going to pop around this area. I've got to think about how I'm going to structure this. Let's go there like that. That I think should work. Now theoretically, with a bucket of water, if I waterlog that block there, that should flow, yes, just into it. Then I can just equal out a little bit there and get ourselves some flat water as opposed to overly wobbly water, which no one wants. So that's quite nice. I like that. I might need to build this up ever so slightly here. And then what I want to do is I want to fill up the base of this with gravel and there, and then I can also replace with some andesite. I can replace these bits, which kind of gives the effect of the dirt being slightly warped underneath the water with the cobble. I'm going to also put a few bits of andesite in here just to offset it. I like that very much. And then if I get on here, I could put that pole there, and that pole there. Would that work? You know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that instead, I think, and put a lantern like that there. I'm going to put some sea pickles inside. I'm also going to put some sugarcane around this because sugarcane is really the primary reason why I've done it. So as we can get some sugarcane, and that can be part of our base as well. So if I pop that up like that, I then also can put a little bit inside, a little bit of seagrass and some sea pickles. Let's get rid of those. Right, so the sea pickles can go inside. Let's put like there, like there, like there, and like there. Let's do 4 in all of them. So we've got plenty of light and a little bit of seagrass just to add some texture and flavour. That looks quite nice. You could also put some fish in there if you thought you fancied it. That'd be quite good. So what we can also do now is get ourselves a pathway that kind of goes around to the edge of this, but I don't want to go too far out and away from it because I need to do something with it. So if I just put gravel there, 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 and there, and then get some coarse dirt, that, that, and that. Yep, that works. And then I want a trapdoor, and pop a trapdoor there, pop a trapdoor there, and finally, so I don't want to come too far out, but I do want to do it a little bit. So we do that like that. We're now 3 dots away from that water, you see. Now what I want to be able to do is use this water to hydrate some earth. So we're going to round about this way. We're going to just make a little field, and I think that's you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that out. I'm going to get a bucket of water. I'm going to fill that up with water, and then I'm going to cheat by doing that. I think that's going to work better. Right, so let's just come round and just create just a nice little field effect, but that's, you know, a little bit of a funky shape, perhaps like that. I can put on here, have I got any fence? I do have a fence, brilliant. If I put a fence on top of that with the lantern on it, that gives some light for that. I can then seed up. Have I got seed? I've not got any seed. Right, so let's just get myself a little bit of seed there. Don't need the hoe for now. Seed this bit up as well, so that will grow into just a little tiny crop field. It's all we need for this little base, don't need too much. That's great. And then we can just build a little bit of a fence around that crop field just to give it some shape. Like that, and pop some light on there. There we go. I think that's quite pretty, and that'll look nice once that's grown up. Then what we can also do is we can create this little area here as a similar type of crop field. So I'm going to plant that up with some melons and some pumpkins. So the one thing I definitely want to put into this base is a way to go into dimension. I felt this was the perfect space in which to do it. So we are going to take a row of obsidian across there. We're going to put it up above this area here. Bring it right across the top like that, and that is going to be our Nether Portal. I am not going to light it just yet, but what I am going to do is I'm going to put a row of bits there, so that makes it easy to get up and down. And I'm wondering if I need to put something across the back here just to stop things from popping through. And I did get some purple glass, and I'm wondering whether or not it would look okay. I'm not entirely certain, primarily because I can't take it right to the top, but let's see what that does. Because if I put that there, that's only going to have a single stripe like that, isn't it? I'm not certain that works. No, I'm going to get rid of that because that is a no-go from me. So what we're going to do instead is let's go Old Faithful and use some spruce fences and bring this spruce fence around like that. What I will do is I'm going to pop that there like that, and I'm going to run that in the other directions too. I think probably that will be good. I'm not going to do it there because that's obviously the entrance, and that means we can probably do that a little bit more with bushing around the other side. I do like bushes. Has anybody noticed? It's a bit bush-tastic, this fella, but it works. What can I tell you? That can come along there like that. That is grand. Okay, so in here we've got our Nether Portal, and I'm going to light that fella up. Dunk. And that from the outside then gives a really nice mysterious purple glow, which is always good. So what I do probably want to do is work out some way of stopping piggies getting in here, because the pigmen are going to come in here if we're not careful. It's also potentially a little dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself some lanterns. I'm going to pop a lantern there and there, And obviously not there because that isn't a wall. What are you on, mate? Right, and then if I get a spruce fence and I pop the spruce fence there and there, and then bring that across that side, and then get some gate, this will stop. Oh, redstone, mate, redstone. This will stop the piggies from being able to get in. It perhaps looks a little strange, so let's shift click those in. Right, so if you want to go in you go like that. Happy as Larry. A bit gappy there, but you know what? I'm not bothered. What can I tell you? That looks fine. I'm supremely convinced and happy about that. What happens if I do that? Oh no. What happens if I do that? I'm happier. That's what happens if I do that. Now, I'm going to be very, very honest with you about this fella, because partway through I thought it had all gone Pete Tong completely and we were going to end up with a horrible sprucey mess. But in the end, I think perseverance will out. We put in some details and we played around with it, and actually it turned out okay. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Panning around, you can see we've got ourselves our nice melon and pumpkin patch. We've got the crops and the sugarcane that we put in there that we can use as resources. It's not a farm, but it's enough resources perhaps to keep you going in a survival base. We've got a little pond, and that is just purely aesthetic. I've also created a mound that intersperses itself between cobble and bushes. That does a double effect. One, it looks fab, makes it look like a rocky outcrop that we built the base on. But two, it also reduces the ability for mobs to spawn on those areas because the bushes are not spawnable. You can see the Nether Portal in the middle there looking really imposing, which is fabulous. And as we come around the other side, we've put in a little bit more crops and a path that is going to take us up to the next build. Also inside, we've obviously got all of the necessary things that you need for your survival base, your workstations, your crafting, your storage, and your bed, and enchanting and all that kind of malarkey. Everything is there for you. If you've got any really good ideas that you'd like to see on the walkabout, put hashtag walkabout and your idea in the comments down below. It'd be great to hear what you thought about from the first episode. And if you've not seen it, the link is in the description below, as is the playlist. Then please do let me know what you thought of the last one, because people who watched that last one have come up with some brilliant ideas, and I've already got loads of thoughts that we could do in future walkabout videos. If you have enjoyed that video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying it, and I will keep on making. And also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club. I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.